This is the L2C Media Network, and this is Steve Baxley Sports Final. Today, it's Monday Night Quarterback, and boy, do we mean Monday night. Plus, the ALDS has begun. Did the Rays sting the Yankees? And did the A's pull a fast one on Houston? Plus, all the latest sports news and views. Tonight, we do it proper. Here's Steve. We do it proper? Boy, that's a disappointment. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fun edition of the Steve Baxley Sports Final. And if you notice, we changed a few things around, and this one, it's very good. They're very good to our promotions department and our art department and our legal department. But right now, enough about this, enough about us. We are live. So you may see a cat pounce on me. God forbid. Be more funnier than this show. Anyway, got a lot for you tonight, but it's time for the Monday Night Quarterback. You want to tilt that just a little bit? Thank you. Yes, friends, it is time for the Monday Night Quarterback. That's where we take all the games with the exception and Sunday night, because we've already done them. And we're adding both Monday night games in. Oh, wow. Boy, was I right in the prediction. ESPN had a blowout. CBS had the big game. We'll talk about that immediately more. Right now, let's cook it up. No. Cancel that puppy. Oh, boy, I keep hitting the wrong button for that. There we are. I'll get this properly done. It's time to go to sports. And as we told you, it's time to do that boogaloo that will do so well. Time for Monday Night Quarterback, and we do so somewhat out of order and somewhat out of some respects. Let's first start out with the game on CBS, which was one of two networks that poo-pooed Pete Rozell's attempt to put on Monday Night Football. CBS was first. They didn't want it. NBC didn't give a damn about it, so they gave it to ABC. After tonight, well, I'll give you that thought a little later on, because it's a thought that has to be thunk. Let's go to the recap of the Patriots and the Chiefs. Game one of our Monday night threat. And yes, friends, the NFL has made somewhat of an enemy. This was ESPN when they found out they weren't getting the Patriots and the Chiefs. CBS was. All right, let's storm the palace, and let's get on with the esplanade. It's hard enough to slow down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs under the best of circumstances. Try doing it with your star quarterback shelved by COVID-19, a 40-year-old journeyman taking his place, your top running back headed to injured reserve, and a flight that didn't land in Kansas City until shortly before kickoff. Yet the New England Patriots still managed to give the Chiefs fits for most of the way Monday night, hanging within a field goal of the Super Bowl champs till late in the third. It wasn't until Tyrann Mathieu took an interception back for a touchdown in the fourth that Kansas City clinched its 26-10 victory at Arrowhead. Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman had the TD grabs for the Chiefs, who have now won 13 straight games. And I'm going to tell you this. This was a bit easier. The marquee matchup was supposed to be Sunday, but was put on pause when New England confirmed that a player, later revealed to be Cam Newton, tested positive for ye old COVID-19. Later on Saturday, it came out the Chiefs practice squad quarterback Jordan Tiamu also had tested positive, forcing the NFL to postpone. More tests, including one taken at 6 a.m. on Monday, returned no additional positives from either team. Now, with their quarterback sideline and running back Sony Mitchell hitting the IR with a quad injury, the Patriots were forced to lean on journeyman Brian Hoyer. Lean on me when you need help, and I'll try my best to score you some touchdowns. And the cast of running backs never got into much of a rhythm. Hoyer, who has now lost 11 straight starts for 3 different teams, was 15 of 14 for 130 yards and an interception before getting benched in the second half. Jarrett Stidham led the Patriots to a touchdown to close to 13-10, but he also threw 2 interceptions, including the pick six to Matthew, that propelled the Chiefs to their 4th straight 4-0 start. And you wonder what Belichick had to say in his Zoom press conference. Not a lot. He was probably too busy downing a Subway meatball sub sandwich. The Chiefs marched downfield for a field goal on their first drive, added another later in the half, but otherwise, they took the Patriot. Well, in the words somewhat of Keith Jackson, they took the Patriots into the woodshed and had their way with them with a hickory stick. I mean, Sammy Watkins wasted a scoring chance by fumbling in the red zone. Mahomes was under constant duress, and the rest of his wide receivers were blanketed by the New England secondary. In fact, the Patriots could have been leading had Hoyer not made 2 monumental mistakes. The first came in the closing seconds of the first half when the Patriots had used their timeouts to drive in the field goal range. Hoyer was sacked by Frank Clark on 3rd down. The 40-year-old journeyman didn't realize he couldn't stop the clock. It hit 0, and the Chiefs took 6-3 lead into the locker room. Hoyer's second mistake was he came out of the locker room. No. It came late in the third when he again felt the pocket collapse on a 3rd down play. This time the Chiefs stripped the ball loose and recovered it, keeping New England from another field goal attempt. Give the Chiefs enough chances and they'll close it out. Finally, they took advantage of a swing of momentum. Mahomes hit Hill and Travis Kelce with long passes to move swiftly downfield, and when Hill took a jet sweep to the pylon for a touchdown, that's all she wrote. Patriots answered behind a long run from Damian Harris, who had just been activated off injured reserve, and a nifty catch by N'Keal Harry in the end zone. But the Chiefs kept moving, taking advantage on offense of pass interference, personal fouls, penalties, and a partridge in a very, very thorny pear tree. It was enough to make a mild-mannered man cry. There probably are tears on the hoodie of Bill Belichick. Chiefs win it 26-10, and we have a final score just in. Oh, you're going to love this. I was right about ESPN. You want to know why? Remember that little teary, that little whining you heard? I'm on the air, but thank you for participation. Well, that was because they wanted both games, but they got stuck with what I called the blowout game, and, well, apt description. It was a blowout. Unfortunately, we don't have the report on it, so we'll just give you the mini. Packers, Falcons, 30-16. Ryan for the Falcons, 228 yards. Gurley, 16 rushing attempts for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zacchaeus, rock me, Zacchaeus. 7 receptions, 78 yards. For the Packers, the anointed one. The anointed one. The anointed one. Will you please? I'm live. Red light.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he was doing it.
Oh, this is American League. This is baseball. We'll talk baseball shortly. Good help is fantastic. The anointed one, Aaron Rodgers, of the Packers, 327 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jones, 15 rushing attempts for 71 yards. And Tonyan, 6 receptions, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Your final score, 30-16. Les Packers. Let's go now to the Buccaneers and Chargers as we continue with the Monday night quarterback. And I tell you, folks, this was a wild game. Somewhat wild because the Chargers had the lead, but much like the Lions, they fell apart in the second half. Let's give you the recap of this game. Short and sweet. Tom Brady is introducing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a new way of winning. The 6-time Super Bowl champion led a come-from-behind victory for the first time since joining his new team, throwing for 369 yards and 5 touchdowns to help the Bucs rally from a 17-point deficit to beat the Los Angeles Chargers 38-31 on Sunday. It is the 46th time Brady had delivered a winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime of a regular season game. Fourth on the NFL behind Peyton Manning with 54, Drew Brees with 50, Dan Marino with 47. The 43-year-old quarterback had overcome a deficit of 10 or more points to win a league-best 34 times, including the postseason. With several members of the newly crowned Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning cheering in and on from a suite at Raymond James Stadium, along with Sir Stanley's coveted chalice, Brady shrugged off throwing an early interception, returned from a touchdown to keep the Bucs in first place in the NFC South. 5 players, Miller, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brott, and rookie Keyshawn Vaughn caught scoring passes from Brady, who threw 4 of them after the Bucs fell behind 24-7 in the second quarter. Brady completed 30 of 46 passes with 1 interception and no sacks, the 7th 5-touchdown performance of his career and the first since September 24th, 2017 for New England against Houston. Rookie Justin Herbert completed 20 of 25 passes for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Chargers, who lost 3 straight with the 6th overall pick in this year's draft, playing earlier than expected because of injuries to Tyrod Taylor. Michael Davis intercepted Brady's sideline throw intended for Justin Watson, returned the ball 73 yards for a first quarter score and a 14-7 lead. LA extended the advantage to 17 with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Donald Parham Jr. and Michael Bagley's 53-yard field goal. The game swung dramatically in the final ticks of the opening half. Ndamukong Suh, remember him? He forced a fumble inside the LA 10 with the Chargers attempting to run out the clock. Linebacker Devin White recovered, setting up Brady's 6-yard touchdown to Evans, who finished with 7 catches for 122 yards. Now the Bucs drew closer on Brady's 28-yard scoring throw to O.J. Howard, then took a short-lived 28-24 lead when the 3-time league MVP hit Miller on consecutive plays for 44 yards and 19 yards to get the ball in the end zone again. Hebert threw a 51-yard touchdown pass to Tyrod Johnson in the first half, put the Chargers up 31-28 with a scintillating 73-yard strike to Jalen Guyton, releasing the ball under heavy pressure. Brady's 9-yard scoring pass to Vaughn finished a 7-play, 75-yard drive that put Tampa Bay ahead for good with 11 minutes remaining. We'll have your injuries coming up on Thursday. Up next, the Chargers' third straight game versus NFC South opponent. This time they'll be at New Orleans next Monday night, October 12th on ESPN. The Buccaneers have a short week of prep before playing at Chicago on Thursday night, simulcast on the NFL Network and on Fox. Once again, the final score, Tampa Bay 38, LA Chargers 31. Let's keep going and flowing here, folks. Ravens mollywopped Washington in an embarrassment of riches. Well, not for Washington. 31-17 was the final score. Let's give you the recap of this game that took place at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, where everyone wants to land over. A few big plays went a long way for the Baltimore Ravens, took a step toward regaining the form they displayed last year as the highest scoring team in the league. Lamar Jackson ran for a 50-yard touchdown, threw for 2 scores in a bounce-back performance by the reigning NFL MVP and the Ravens, who took control early against Washington in a 31-17 victory on Sunday. Now, coming off a humbling loss to Kansas City on Monday night, Baltimore used a forced fumble, a fake punt, and the longest run of Jackson's career to build a 21-10 halftime lead. Washington had more first downs, owned an edge in time of possession, and had only 7 fewer yards than Baltimore, but the Ravens made things happen at just the right time. The game was tough to watch for Washington coach Ron Rivera, and not just because of the score. Weakened by treatment he received during the week for cancer, Rivera occasionally took a break by sitting on the bench. Washington's first-year coach wore a shirt that said Rivera Strong. Asked what it took for him to get through the afternoon, Rivera said, quote, "I took 2 bags of IV fluids before the game. I would sit down at TV timeouts. I normally don't. I look forward to getting home and going to bed early," end quote. After throwing 3 interceptions last week, Washington's Dwayne Haskins Jr. went 32 for 45 for a career-high 314 yards. He was sacked 3 times, twice by Matthew Judon. Jackson Summers weren't as big, but he managed the Baltimore offense as required while completing 14 of 21 passes for 193 yards. Now limited to 97 yards passing against the Chiefs, Jackson surpassed that total by halftime. He was backed by a strong defense looking for redemption after allowing Kansas City to amass 517 yards in a 34-20 victory. Ravens went up 7-0 when Mark Ingram scored from the 1 after cornerback Marlon Humphrey ripped the ball out of the grasp of J.D. McKissick, and Marcus Peters recovered at the Washington 34. Now, early in the second quarter, a 54-yard field goal tried by Washington's Dustin Hopkins clanged off the left upright. On 3rd and 4 from midfield, Jackson faked a handoff and took off down the middle of the field for a 50-yard score, shrugging off an attempted tackle by Kendall Fuller along the way. Washington closed to 14-7 with a 75-yard drive capped by a 2-yard run by Antonio Gibson. Facing 4th down at the Washington 43, Koch threw to an open Miles Boykin, and Jackson cashed in on the punt fade with an on-the-run 25-yard touchdown pass to Andrews just after the 2-minute warning. Later in the half, however, Jackson's run of 159 straight passes without an interception ended when he was picked by Fuller. Washington cashed in with a field goal to make it 21-10. Limited to 3 catches for 22 yards by Kansas City, Andrews hauled in a 22-yard touchdown pass to increase the lead to 18. It was an exciting game. Final score, Ravens 31, Washington 17. Ravens host Cincinnati next Sunday, while Washington hosts Los Angeles on Sunday, the first 5 straight games versus the NFC foes. Let's keep the love going. Cardinals, Panthers, we'll short sheet this ad so we can get in everyone as we begin the recap. And I begin to itch. But here we go, kids. There was a time when the doctors didn't know if Teddy Bridgewater would walk normally again, let alone play quarterback in the NFL. Well, you never know it watching Bridgewater break the pocket, juke 2 defenders, and race 18 yards to the end zone to help the Carolina Panthers defeat the Arizona Cardinals 31-21 for their second straight win. Bridgewater threw for 276 yards and 2 scores as the Panthers solved their red zone issues from a week ago by scoring touchdowns on their first 4 trips inside the Arizona 20-yard line. Bridgewater scored his first rushing touchdown since before a devastating knee injury in December of 2016. He tore his ACL and dislocated his kneecap with the Minnesota Vikings. Had to be rushed to the hospital to prevent permanent nerve damage. On Sunday, the 27-year-old Bridgewater even looked elusive at times. Rule credited the new offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, whose play calls helped the Panthers control time of possession with scoring drives that lasted 13, 9, 10, 8, and 15 plays, all the while keeping Kyler Murray and company off the field. What about Kyler Murray? He threw for 3 touchdowns for the Cardinals, but was limited to 133 yards passing, as Arizona finished with 262 yards on offense, running just 55 plays. The final score: Panthers 31, Cardinals 21. We keep going, going, going. Let's give you the Browns and Cowboys before we talk about the Saints and Lions. Browns and Cowboys recap. Well, let's just put it this way. There's no dancing this week in Jerry Jones's party bus. Not after the Browns humiliated the Cowboys 49-38. Here's how it happened, and Mayfield just totally gave his all for the Browns and their fans. Big game. Baker Mayfield and Myles Garrett enjoyed their homecoming. It was easy to forget the surroundings were familiar for Odell Beckham, too. Mayfield threw for 2 touchdowns, including one setup high there. When Garrett had a strip sack in a third straight game, and Beckham scored 3 times as the Browns held on to beat the Cowboys 49-38 on Sunday. The Cleveland quarterback was playing at the home of the Cowboys for the first time since winning a Big 12 championship with Oklahoma 3 years ago. Now the Austin native has the Browns at 3-1 for the first time since, 2001. Garrett played just a few miles from where he grew up and played high school football on a field he visited several times at Texas A&M before becoming the number 1 overall draft pick in 2017. Beckham Jr., he spent his first 6 seasons with the Giants, a once-a-year visitor for the Cowboys as AFC East rivals. So there were plenty of people, even with the pandemic reduced crowd of 25,021, who had seen him celebrating in an AT&T Stadium end zone before. Beckham capped his big day with a 50-yard scoring run on a reverse after the Cowboys had cut a 41-14 deficit to 3 late in the fourth quarter with 3 straight touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Dak Prescott has first 500-yard game, throwing for 502 yards and 4 touchdowns while becoming the first NFL quarterback with at least 450 yards passing in 3 straight games. Prescott set that record because Cowboys had played from way behind 3 straight weeks, in part because of turnovers by him. 5 for the past 2 games, and now Dallas has lost the first of 3 straight home games in what could prove to be a critical stretch if Mike McCarthy wants to get Dallas to the playoffs in his first season. Cleveland's Kevin Stefanski is in his first season as well. The Browns ran for 307 yards and 3 touchdowns despite losing lead back Nick Chubb to a knee injury in the first quarter. Stefanski said Chubb would have an MRI exam. Hunt, who had been battling a groin injury, had 71 yards and 2 touchdowns, and D'Ernest Johnson doubled his career yardage to 26 yards in the first half alone, going on to finish with a team-high 95 yards. Beckham's first TD of the game was also Jarvis Landry's first touchdown pass in his 100th career game, a 37-yard score on trick play. It was the longest toss by a receiver since Beckham's 49-yarder with the Giants in 2018. Cleveland Browns finished off the Cowboys by 11, 49-38. By the way, if we haven't told you, Nick Rekieta and Lost Playing the Interwebs are playing right now on the Rekieta Law channel on YouTube. If you would like, please go there because we have more stuff. In fact, we are going to be here until about 1 in the morning. We got about 1, 2, about 6, 7 games left to recap for you folks. But here we go. And we'll recap the Monday night game tomorrow. The Packers and the Patriots. The Packers and whomever they played against. Oh, the Atlanta Falcons. But right now, let's give you a recap of the worst game the Lions have played. The New Orleans Saints overcame a 2-touchdown deficit in the first quarter to beat the Lions. And that wasn't the only challenge they had to overcome on a short rest Sunday. Drew Brees threw 2 touchdown passes to Traquan Smith, 2 minutes, 19 seconds apart in the second quarter, helping the shorthanded Saints rally to beat the Lions handily 35-29. New Orleans played after a short night of sleep, coming off its first 2-game losing streak in 3 years, and started the game without 6 injured starters. Saints fullback Michael Burton had a false positive test for the coronavirus Saturday, leading to another round of tests for players and staff overnight in Motown. Early in the game at a fan-free Ford Field, the Lions looked as though they might take advantage of facing a tired team without three starters on both sides of the ball as they led 14-0 with 4 minutes 37 seconds after kickoff. In the end, Detroit earned the dubious distinction of being the first NFL team to lose 6 straight games in which it led by double digits, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. The Lions also joined the 2011 Minnesota Vikings. By the way, you know who was part of that team, don't you? Do we need to remind you? Maybe we do. As 2 teams in league history to lose 3 of their first 4 games after leading by at least 10 points. New Orleans was the latest team to come back against Detroit, scoring 35 points straight from late in the first period to midway through the third to take control. Matthew Stafford ended the Saints' run with a touchdown pass to T.J. Hawkinson late in the third quarter. Lions pulled within 6 points with 3:36 left in the fourth on Adrian Peterson. That's the man. 5-yard run and Hawkinson's 2-point conversion catch. The Saints took a step towards sealing the win with Breeze converting a 3rd and 5 from his 27 with a 19-yard pass to Smith. And to dash any comeback hopes Detroit had, Alvin Kamara ran for 5 yards on a 3rd and 3 run from midfield. Stafford capped the opening drive with a touchdown pass to DeAndre Swift after Breeze's first pass was deflected and intercepted on his first snap. Stafford threw a 15-yard pass to Kenny Golladay to give Detroit its 3rd double-digit lead. And they sucked afterwards. The Lions lost a 17-point fourth quarter lead in the opener against Chicago. Week 2, they were ahead by 11 against Green Bay before giving up 31 straight points and losing an 11th straight game. And you know the rest. The final score, New Orleans Saints 35. That team in Detroit 29. They shouldn't even be called the Lions. Can't call them what I want to call them because that would be a vile and vulgar word. But if the cat fits, wear it. So here we go. Seattle, Miami, from the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. Let's give it to you, baby, like you've never been given to it before, chica. Little recap here. The Seahawks-Dolphins game. The unbeaten Seahawks revived their blueprint from years past, winning with repeated defensive stops and one pivotal pass. Russell Wilson's record production pace slackened slightly, but his long completion in the final seconds of the first half helped the Seahawks begin to pull away, and they beat the Dolphins 31-23. Wilson threw for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks swept their first 4 games only one other time in franchise history, in 2013. When they won their only Super Bowl. They've scored 30 or more points in 4 consecutive games for the first time in 2015. But it was defense that made the difference against the Dolphins, who fell behind as they settled for Jason Sanders field goals on our first 5 scoring drives. Wilson, who went 24-34, tied Peyton Manning's record of 16 touchdown passes in the first 4 games of a season. Manning did it in 2013. Ryan Fitzpatrick for Miami was 29 for 45 and 315 yards, but threw 2 interceptions for Miami. He also rushed for a touchdown and was a leading rusher for Miami with 6 carries for 47 yards. Final score, though, Seahawks 31, Miami Dolphins 23. Let's keep it rolling. Vikings, Texans, oh, sweet mystery of life and love, at last we found you. That's right, and this game would be the downfall for the Houston Texans coach, who today found out his services were not needed. This game came from the lack of NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. In a battle between winless teams that made the playoffs last year, one was going to emerge thinking it could turn its season around with a smile, and the other was going to look for a new coach. Minnesota Vikings have reason for optimism after holding a late rally holding off a late rally by the now despondent Houston Texans on Sunday. Dalvin Cook ran for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Vikings, who beat Houston 31-23. The Texans cut the lead to 8 when Deshaun Watson connected with Kenny Stills on a 24-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 10 with 5:52 remaining. Houston's defense got a stop, and Will Fuller made an acrobatic one-handed catch on 4th down for what was initially ruled a touchdown with 1:12 left. But after a review, it was determined that the ball hit the ground before Fuller gained control, and Minnesota ran out the clock from there. Alexander Mattinson added a rushing touchdown. Cousins threw for 260 yards and a touchdown for the Vikings. After that, Houston today announced it had fired their coach, whose name I'd like to forget. That's right. And up next, Vikings visit Seattle while the Texans host the Jaguars. I know we forgot the rest of them, but time is of the essence. And speaking of the Jaguars, they met the Bengals. And I don't know what is up in the waters off of Lake Erie in Ohio, but damn, both the Bengals and the Browns took victories. Wow. Whatever's in that water, I hope they share it. This one was done at the Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. In 24 hours, Joe Mixon went from a worrying hospital visit with a mysterious chest injury to busting out for one of the best games of his career. The fourth-year running back missed practice late in the week and said he went to a hospital Saturday with a pain in his chest and difficulty breathing. He didn't exactly say what doctors told him, but he thought he might have hurt himself by sleeping on it wrong. Mixon sure looked fine Sunday, though, rushing for 151 yards on 25 carries with 2 touchdowns and adding a third score on a 9-yard swing pass from rookie quarterback Joe Burrow in the Bengals' 33-25 win over the Jags. The Bengals rolled up 505 yards of offense, working through or around some of their recent offensive line problems to get their first win. Getting the running game unstuck allowed some better looks downfield for Burrow, who became the first rookie in NFL history to throw for 300 or more yards in 3 consecutive games. The Heisman Trophy winner completed 25 of 36 attempts for 300 yards and a touchdown to Mixon. After being hit 18 times and sacked 18 times in a 23-23 tie against Philadelphia last week, Burrow went about his business without much trouble from the Jaguars' pass rush. He was sacked only once. Gardner Minshew was able to put up some good numbers too, going 27 for 40 for 351 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jacksonville, but it was not to be. Bengals beat the Jags 33-25. Oh, Lordy, Miss Lordy. Giants, Rams, what a recap we got for you on this game. Even shorter. Giants suck. There you go, folks. Simply stated, the Giants, much like the Lions, suck. So here's a recap for you. And until Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate traded post-game punches in the culmination of an estranged family feud, without host Steve Harvey, mind you, there wasn't much drama in the New York Giants' visit to Los Angeles. The Rams hung on to win a mostly dismal game with just enough big plays on offense and a redemptive interception by Darius Williams. Jared Goff hit Cooper Kupp for a 55-yard touchdown with 6:56 to play, and the Rams grinded out a 17-9 victory over New York on Sunday before the wild fight between Ramsey and Tate. Williams made a diving pick at the Los Angeles 7 with 52 seconds to play as the Rams barely stayed unbeaten at the new SoFi Stadium and kept first-year Giants coach Joe Judge winless. Los Angeles managed 240 total yards and went nearly 45 minutes between its 2 touchdowns, but it was enough. Rams beat the Giants 17-9. The Colts and the Bears. Another shorty for this one. Another shorty for this one. Yes, another shorty for this one. Let's show them why. Okay, let's do the short recap on this game. This game was about as uneventful as my love life, but in some cases was somewhat exciting, and memorable. Unlike my love life, this game came to you from Soldier Field in Chi-Town. So let's get you over to the recap, short and sweet for the Colts and Bears. The Indianapolis Colts came into the season thinking their defense had the potential to be one of the best in the NFL. Games like this are exactly what they had in mind. Phillip Rivers threw a touchdown pass on Indiana's first possession, and the Colts shut down Nick Foles and the Bears in a 19-11 victory on Sunday. After Rivers connected with Mo Alley Cox on a 13-yard score, the NFL's top-ranked defense done its job. Indianapolis upgraded the defense in the offseason by bringing in 2018 Pro Bowl defensive tackle DeForest Buckner and 2017 All-Pro cornerback Xavier Rhodes. The payoff is performance like this. Colts kept the Bears out of the end zone until Allen Robinson caught a 16-yard pass with 1:35 remaining. Indianapolis recovered the onside kick and came away with its third straight win, the Colts' best streak since beating Kansas City, Houston, Denver last October. As for the Bears, the offense didn't look much better with Foles starting instead of Mitchell Trubisky. There was no big comeback this time by the team that became the first, according to the Elias Sports Bureau, with 2 wins in the same season after trailing by 16 or more points in the fourth quarter. Bears managed just 269 yards, only 28 on the ground. Penalties were issued. They got flagged 8 times for 103 yards. Foles, who led Chicago back from 16 down to Atlanta last week after Trubisky got yanked, never found a rhythm. The Super Bowl 52 MVP was 26 of 42 for 249 yards with an interception to go with the late TD in his first start since Bears acquired him in the offseason from Jayville. Colts didn't exactly light up Chicago on offense, but they did play turnover-free ball. Rivers was 16 of 29 for 190 yards and a touchdown. He needs 4 completions to join Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning with 5,000. The Colts played the second half without All-Pro linebacker Darius Leonard, who left with a groin injury, but Indianapolis still had plenty to get by. They beat the Bears 19-11. That's right, baby. The Bills, the Buffalo Bills. What is going on in Buffalo? Well, I'll tell you what's going on in Buffalo as we extend this program to 1 in the a.m. because we got some other folks to talk about. So let's get to it. Bills, Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. Of course, Paradise would be Las Vegas, baby. And that's, well, technically where they were, outside of Vegas. It was paradise. Not even a banged-up left shoulder can deter Josh Allen. Shaking off a second-quarter stinger, Allen threw 2 touchdowns and rushed for another to lead the Bills to a 30-23 victory over the Vegas Raiders on Sunday. Carving up the Raiders' secondary, Allen meshed well with offseason acquisition Stephon Diggs, who finished with 6 receptions for 115 yards. Allen completed at least 1 pass to 9 different targets. Buffalo, which is averaging a league third best 30.75 points per game, has opened 4-0 for the first time in 12 years. The Bills were 3-1 last season when they made the playoffs. Vegas lost its second straight game and first inside the shiny new $2 billion Allegiant Stadium. 2 turnovers and 7 penalties were very costly for the Raiders. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr finished 32 for 44 for 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carr, who is yet to throw an interception this season, surpassed Raider Kenny Stabler and set a franchise record with 151 career touchdown passes. But it was Allen's brilliance in the first half when he finished 15 of 20 with 2 touchdowns that set the tone. His 26-yard strike to Gabriel Davis on the opening drive was his 13th TD of the season, surpassing Ryan Fitzpatrick for the most total touchdowns by a Bills player in the first 4 games of the season. Allen also found Cole Beasley for an 11-yard reception to push Buffalo's lead to 14-3. The Bills survived the scare when Allen was taken to the locker room late in the first half with the shoulder injury. Allen said he felt funky on his non-throwing arm after sprawling in the air and shoveling an 8-yard left-handed pass to Diggs. He was back on the bench moments later, on the final play of the half, and returned in the second half to pick up where he left off. With its lead cut to 17-16, Buffalo's defense came to life by stopping the Raiders on 4 consecutive possessions. Las Vegas gave the ball back to the Bills by way of punt, fumble downs, and other fumbles before scoring on its final possession. Bills beat the Raiders 23. No, Bills beat the Raiders 30-23. Almost went the other way on that one. Finally, we come to give you the Falcons and Packers, the other Monday night game that was on ESPN, which, of course, when we say that, especially this week, they knew they were going to get the blowout, and believe me, they whined. This one's easy, folks. Aaron Rodgers connected with tight end Robert Troyan on 3 of his 4 touchdown passes, and the Packers remain unbeaten with a 30-16 victory over the Falcons, who may also be searching for a new coach. The Packers opened the season by scoring at least 30 points in 4 straight games for the first time in franchise history. That's right. Todd Gurley's 2 touchdown runs couldn't stop the Falcons from their first 0-4 start since 1999, when they followed a Super Bowl season by going 5-11. I fear they're going to repeat that. Green Bay was missing its 2 top receivers. Devontae Adams sat out a second straight game with a hammy, and Alan Lazard had gone on injured reserve with a core problem. Yet that didn't slow down Rodgers, who capitalized on Atlanta's depleted secondary and helped Toynan deliver the most productive performance of his young career. He had touchdown receptions of 19 and 8 yards to cap the Packers' final 2 first-half possessions, added a 21-yard touchdown reception midway through the third quarter. The 2017 undrafted free agent from Indiana State finished the night with 6 catches, 98 yards, along with his 3 touchdowns to set career highs in all 3 categories. Tonyan, who entered this season with 2 career touchdowns, has reached the end zone 5 times over his last 3 games. Rodgers went 27 of 33 for 327 yards through 13 touchdown passes without an interception this season. Atlanta just stunk. Why bother? 30-16, Packers over the Falcons. All right, and that is your Monday night quarterback for the week. We'll have the Thursday night edition after Thursday night football. Right now, let's get you back to more of what we do. It's 12:34 right now. We're going to go through an entire rest of the show, this broadcast, till 1 a.m. That's right, we are extended. So, let's get going, shall we? Yes, sir, we shall. And oh la la, did the baseball playoffs continued with not 1 but 2 American League Division Series games. And give you not the full details, but let's just right now give you the pathway, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, time to give you the sheet. Let's give you the sheet, boys. Thank you. Let's give you the sheet. And give you the American League Division Series Game 1 stataroos, if we can, if we're allowed to, and we are allowed to. So let's kick it in gear, Robespierre. Please. Thank you. Thank you. We love you too. That's right. Time now to give you the excitement, the fun, the grandeur of Game 1 of the American League Division Series for both the Houston Oakland and the Yankees Tampa Bay. We first start out. Come on, guys. You know what we're looking for, not this. We don't do the full recap on this. We just do the scores. So if you got the scores, boys, let's see the scores, please. So here we go, and my long hair is starting to bug me. We go first to the Astros and Athletics. And the Astros, you didn't need a cheat sheet to find out that this team is for real. They beat the Athletics 10-5, 10-6, 1 for the Astros, 5-8, 1 for the Athletics. Taylor gets the win for the Astros. He's 1-0. Wendell Clen gets a loss for the Athletics, 1-0. Correa, the Houston shortstop, went 3 for 5. 2 runs, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Taylor, the Houston pitcher, pitched 1 full inning, didn't give up a hit or an earned run, didn't even give up a strike or a walk. Astros lead the series 1-0. It's a best 4 out of 7. 4 out of 7. Let's keep going. Yankees stepped to the plate and humbled the Rays of Tampa Bay 9-3, 9-15-0 for the Yanks, 3-6-0 for the Rays. Cole gets the win. He's 2-0. Snell gets the loss. He's 1-1. Cole pitched 6 full, gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, got 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. Stanton, the New York DH, went 1 for 4, got a run, a homer, and 4 ribs. Yankees Rays game 2. Who's going to pitch, you may ask? That's right. Let's give you the pitchers for this game. Petco Park in San Diego is where the game 2 is, or where the American League Division Series is located. 8:10 p.m. on TBS. Pitchers. It will be right-handed pitcher Tyler Glasnow going up against right-handed pitcher Delvi Garcia. That is going to be a bombsheller right there. So now we go from there to the other game, the Astros and the A's. That's right, Astros A's game 2. Who will their pitching lineup be? Live from Dodger Stadium, 4:37 p.m. Eastern, also on TBS. Left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea will take on left-handed pitcher Framber Valdez. Roll. And there you go. And that is your baseball looky-loo. And while we have this opportunity, let's give you an update on a story that we have been following since Friday. And it is a sad conclusion to the story. A very sad conclusion. Former Major League Baseball pitcher Charles Hager, wanted by police in connection with the shooting death of his ex-girlfriend in Phoenix, was found dead Saturday. Dead of self-inflicted gunshot wound at the Grand Canyon, police said in a statement. According to Sergeant Ben Hoster, a Scottsdale Police Department spokesman, Hager's body was discovered on a trail along the south rim of the Grand Canyon in northern Arizona. Authorities had probable cause to arrest the 37-year-old former professional baseball player on suspicion of murder and aggravated assault. Hager's occupied vehicle was found Saturday near Flagstaff, police said. Hager pitched 83 innings in his 5-year Major League Baseball career. The right-hander was drafted by the Chicago White Sox in 2001. Spent a lot of time with the Padres, Dodgers, Mariners, and Red Sox organizations. His last appearance in Big League was 2010. And we go from there to more news, as we will try to lighten things up more. But this one, more legal news, but this one of a more humankind. The Supreme Court, let's read it properly. The United States Supreme Court is allowing a class action lawsuit to proceed from minor league baseball players who allege they're being paid less than their minimum wage. Attorney and former minor league baseball pitcher Garrett Brocious broke the news on Twitter on Monday morning. Brocious is leading the class action against Major League Baseball for unlawful wages. The Supreme Court denied Major League Baseball's request to take the case, meaning the case will proceed as a class action lawsuit and return to the trial court soon. The Supreme Court justices offered no comment in rejecting Major League Baseball's appeal. The lawsuit involves minor league players in Arizona, California, and Florida, according to the Associated Press. The group of minor league players first sued MLB teams in February 2014, claiming that most earn less than $7,500 annually in violation of several laws, notes the Associated Press. Now, due to the coronavirus pandemic, the 2020 minor league baseball season was canceled altogether, leaving players in limbo. Because minor league baseball players are bound by their uniform player contract, they were not able to collect unemployment benefits while baseball was on hiatus. During the COVID-19 shutdown and Major League Baseball Players Association 2020 season negotiations, most Major League Baseball teams committed to paying their minor leaguers through the end of the originally scheduled minor league season. The Nationals and Athletics both reversed their decision to cut minor league pay after backlash. The issue of minor league pay has been a rich source of controversy in recent years. In 2018, Major League Baseball successfully lobbied to pay minor leaguers less than a minimum wage thanks to the Save American Pastime Act, which was tucked into a much larger federal spending bill. Major League Baseball's argument was that the minor leaguers were seasonal workers. They paid for just the 5 months of the minor league season and not the remainder of the calendar year, and thus shouldn't be protected by minimum wage laws. This past February, Major League Baseball announced that players at all levels of the minors will see minimum weekly salaries jump for the 2021 season, with players at AAA level pulling in $8,400 annually. The announcement for raises came in the midst of Major League Baseball seeking to drastically reduce the number of affiliated minor league teams, which would in essence kill off those clubs. That's ultimately what ended up happening when, after over a year of negotiations for a new professional baseball agreement, Major League Baseball and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues, the governing body for minor league baseball, failed to reach a new agreement. Major League Baseball's proposal as part of a dramatic restructure to the developmental pipeline drew outrage from minor league team owners, fans, and government officials. Now that ties have been dissolved between the two sides, Major League Baseball has begun implementing the new minor league system they want. They began the process of eliminating minor league affiliates last week with the conversion of the Appalachian League to a college summer circuit for rising freshmen and sophomores. The Appalachian League had been an affiliated minor league without professional players since 1911. And we keep going. And this is we continue giving you the headline. And there we go. Falcons wide receiver Jones. Let's give you some more headlines while we get you ready for the scoreboard. And we do so, as we always do, with respect. As we said, the Atlanta Falcons came into Monday Night Football banged up on both sides of the ball, but they'll be going into Week 6 with even more medical concerns, starting with their best offensive player. After sitting out Atlanta's loss, aggravated his ailment while playing the Packers and was forced out of action early. Speed went down awkwardly on a first-half catch, per Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, and after battling some discomfort on the sideline, stretched his hammy and returned to the field. His return did not last long, with the perennial Pro Bowler staying in the locker room at halftime. Falcons announced early in the second half that Jones would not return for the remainder of the game, declaring him out despite dire circumstances for Atlanta's winless offense. And we continue on with our headlines. Then we got, or is that going to do it for headlines? Yeah, that'll do it for headlines. Let's get you in for... Let's get you for some awfulannouncing.com news. And Here we go. Here we go. As it begins to spin, we have to wait for the power of immense digital to get with it here. Local Major League Baseball viewership increased around 4% this season. Bravo. Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football is adding Scout Feed, Twitch Stream, and new talent for the 2020 NFL season. That's right. You'll be able to see Thursday Night Football not only on Fox and on Amazon Prime, but also on Twitch. That should be fun. Here's a little interesting note. Barstool Sports Chief Executive Officer Erica Nardini has been named to the WWE Board of Directors. And here we go. NBC's decision to move the finish of the Talladega playoff race to NBCSN in favor of local news was unpopular, but sadly necessary due to football coverage. And many CTV and TSN, and in Canada, many TSN and CTV channels went off the air for more than an hour Monday in Canada, thanks to a power outage. Whoa. Fun, isn't it? Yes, it is. Let's give you a little bit of the announcement by Amazon Prime. New features. First of all, Kerry Champion, Chad Johnson, and Joy Taylor among the new talent joining the company's package beginning this week ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game against Chicago Bears. This is the first game of Amazon's 11-week Thursday Night Football package along with Fox. Now, Prime customers will still have their basic options to watch the game, including the Hall of Fame team of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the Fox Network feed, Hannah Storm and Andrea Kramer on the main Amazon feed, or Fox Deportes' Adrian Garcia Marquez and Rolando Cantu. But taking notes from ESPN's Make a Catch approach, Amazon is adding what it calls a Scouts feed, where hosts Joy Taylor and analyst Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah focus on the X's and O's of each game as it happens. But what about other little portions? Well, after debuting its NFL Next pregame show with Kay Adams, Chris Long, and James Coe of Next Gen Stats last year, Prime will now air it every Tuesday at 8 and later on demand, with former Cleveland Browns wide receiver and Academy Award winner Andrew Hawkins joining the show. Now, while the Middle English Thursday Night Football feed with Derek Ray and Tommy Smythe, a personal fave, won't be back this year, Amazon is bringing a slew of exclusive NFL content to its Twitch streaming site. Hawkins will join Chris Long's brother Kyle for a weekly Ask Me Anything style show every Monday at 2 Eastern called the NFL Comment Box. Wednesday at 6, Kyle Long and Johnson host the NFL Machine, an interactive show that will dive into NFL Films archives. Twitch will also exclusively stream NFL Next Live during each Amazon Thursday Night Football game, featuring Hawkins and Kerry Champion commenting on the live action and answering fan questions using Twitch's chat function, similar to influencer streams found during NBA League Pass games this summer. NBA Twitter Live and previous Major League Baseball games on Facebook and YouTube. Chris Long and Denver Broncos superstar Von Miller are expected to be guests during the season, Amazon said. Now, Prime Video Stats and Video Overlay X-Ray, which you can use with any audio feed, will now feature on-demand replays, instant next-gen numbers on completion probability, the time it took for a quarterback to throw a pass, and the running speed of key players almost immediately after play is over. There you go, right there in the nutshell. We got about 9 minutes left. Let's go to our scoreboard. And I want to say a special hello to Amy Hayes. We miss her, miss talking to her. Hope we get a chance to do it again. But to all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, we say how do. And we say how do going to the scoreboard for, I guess, 8 minutes. Yep. Last 8 minutes, we're going to the scoreboard, folks. We have had a busy Monday, so our shout outs have to be grouped. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. How y'all doing, folks? Sorry we couldn't be individual, but as they say, time was not on our side for Monday. We'll do it again on Tuesday in full. We'll go news leads and everything, shout outs, and then the scoreboard. So let's go to it. Scoreboard time. We got soccer and everything else to talk about. Let's roll it in for the next 7 minutes. So, do we have that up? Yes, we do. And I tell you, man, we've been on, 90 minutes. This has been a fun show. Mondays are always full, as we all know. So, here we go. Let's get you some, let's get you some baseball from Japan, if we can, and we are. So let's do it. Only one game in the Japanese baseball. The Hanshin Tigers took on the Oberi Giants and won 6-1, 6-13-0 for the Tigers, 1-5-0 for the Giants. Takahashi for the Tigers gets the win. He's 4-3. Sakura gets a loss for the Giants. He's 2-3. And there you go. Do we have a little time? I think we do. Let's, because we only have. Here we go, folks. We're going to try to do this. We got about 6 minutes of our program here left. We're going to go Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and hopefully do it all in a nice shortened time. Good evening, Angela Peterson, Christina Peterson, Jay the Brain Man, Anne Marie Man, Yuki Tanaka. We also say a big hey to Brenda Dixon, January J. Keaton, Donna Payne, Brutal Metzler, Yvonne Marie, Ricky Pickrell, Brenda Gaminsky, Alan Obroff, Matthew Nichols, Jerry Nichols, Nancy Nichols, Amy Hayes, Frida Hayes, Morris Hayes, Crystal Hart, Mike Sparks, Sammy Phillips, Samantha O'Neill, Casey Ann, Monica Cram, and wow, what a show. Okay. Is that all we had for the poople? Come on. Boy, oh boy. Here we go. Let's kick it to the limit. Don't you just love it when the pronouncement comes before the pronoun? There we go. We knew what we were doing, and we're doing it. Let's hello to Beth McLeod and all the gang at Fox 8. Come on, let's keep it going. All right. We also say a big hello to Joseph Schwartz, Randy West, Leonard Brand, Hilda Clark Bowen, Shannon Walsh, Dale Sankey, Jeff Rollo, Marley Wiley, George Templeton, Nellie K9, Mrs. Nellie K9, Phil Monahan, Megan Nadeau, Peggy Ann Bies, and Kimberly Butler, Jeff Rollo as well, and Shannon Walsh, Steve Bledsoe, Tyke Prado, Rob Rago, Chad Knopp, Itan G, the Jewish rapper, and our entire Wild and Whacked Outs family group here. There's some great people. Love them all. Twitter, we got about 3 minutes. So let's give a shout out on Twitter to some of my good friends. And they are good friends. Quickly, because time is fleeting and so are my feet. So let's kick it off with, of course, Beth McLeod. Audrey Dahlgren, Alex Sims, Nikitas, Rebecca, Crashdown 321, Ivan McKellen, Stacy Hayes, Lisa Guerrero, Andrea Isom, happy belated 24th birthday, Charlie's London, Mandy Summers, Cheryl Atkinson, Peter Gilmore, Casey Lennox, and well, let's do this proper. All my friends on, of course, Twitter, and Peter Oeda, Luisi Fernanda, and Claudia Trejos. And, of course, and we are getting... Let's give you this. Linda Steele, how do you do? Courtney Lynn Elwood, how do you do? Francia, Jalande, how you doing? Andre Isom, Mario Lou. And all my friends on the gram. And there you go. We are done. We have been outclassed. We have been literally done. We are done. It's an hour and 7 minutes. We have literally not only rounded the bases, but we just slid into home with one hell of a full Monday show. We have done football, baseball, no basketball. That'll be tomorrow. And we thank you all for putting up with us. It has been fun. It's been thrilling. It's been exciting. And someday we're going to get Streamlabs or someone else to put some graphics on so we don't feel like we're so much low budget. But we thank you. We thank you anyway for putting up with us this hour, this moment, this day, this night, this epilogue. Thanks, everybody, for watching, for tuning in. And, hey, I caught it. We are still planning to hook this thing up with a arm so it'll look like, a radio mic. It'll look like this, and you'll be able to at least hear us more without it falling off the desk or falling off the stand here. But tomorrow we will be on, I think, midnight Eastern. I am not so certain, but they got a late starter again. So we'll see you at midnight right here on youtube.com/Lugnut6 for another good edition, more or less, of the Steve Baxley Sports Final. I'm Steve the Baxman Baxley for Harry Von Stuttgart and everyone here at L2C Sports and the L2C Media Network. Thanks for watching. No matter what sport you love, may your favorite team always be winners. And good night, America, wherever and whomever you are. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll post the time up on our promo. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Nick Ricada. His broadcast is an hour old. Go see it on the Ricada Law channel here on YouTube, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Good night. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports, as well as YouTube. Thanks. Good night. God bless.